All right, traders, today is Cyber Monday, November 27th, 2023. Good morning. My SPY pivot this morning is 454.20. Excuse me, that's supposed to be 455.23. All right, 455.23. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. The Fab Five, that would be FNGU, SPY, IWM, DIA, and QQQ. They all remain in daily uptrends as they consolidate near their recent highs. US dollar index continues to hover over the 103 area. USO and UNG continue their daily downtrends, inking out lower lows. Silver and gold remain in daily uptrends while they consolidate near recent highs. Let's go take a look at some charts. All right, here's a picture of the daily chart for SPY. And I just want to put this trend line in right here so you can see where we're at. All right, so you can see this is where we made an all-time high here and then a lower high right there. Okay, and then you can see we're right up into it right here today, this morning. Actually, yesterday on Black Friday, you can see we're just banging our heads into it right there as we move up. And yesterday and today, we'll see what happens today. So we are in an uptrend. Here's our previous high. We're making a new high. Still no pullback yet. I'm still looking forward to that pullback. I'd like to see a pullback back to this green line right here. Probably about 449.50, 440, maybe even try to spike this area right here, 446.42. We'll see what happens. Upside we got all the way up to about 462, 461 is a possibility as we're in this channel right here now. So there's SPY in a daily uptrend, moving up, just kind of riding the 3 EMA there. Still no pullback to the T line. First pullback we get, I would expect to come back to the T line. And we could get that today or tomorrow. You can see we've got some minor support on this candle here and this candle here. And you can see the T line is just now approaching that same area. So we may get a pullback. We've got a double doji. So day before Thanksgiving, we got a doji. Day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, we got another doji. So I like to say when whichever way it breaks, up or below the doji, is probably going to be the trend for about 2 or 3 days. Good morning, Mai, Rob. Just making sure everyone can hear me. Looks like it's possible. All right, so there's SPY in a daily uptrend. QQQ. I'm going to go out on a limb, say this is probably doing the same thing, which it is. Here's the high. We made a higher high, so QQQ in a daily uptrend. QQQ on day before Thanksgiving. You can see right here we put in a topping wick candle right there, followed by a doji. So price breaking up over the doji would look like possibly 3 more days higher. Price breaking down below the bottom of the doji would probably indicate 2 or 3 days lower. We already got 1, 2, another day lower for QQQ. And see if it's going to test this major support area of this consolidation right up through here. So there's QQQ, all right? So we're looking for it to possibly test this area down here if it breaks below that doji. And that area would be about the 383.52 level right there. That's QQQ in a daily uptrend. FNGU next. All right, we got a high. We made a higher high, so we're in a daily uptrend. Pull back to the T line would be absolutely normal. Now you can see FNGU putting in a topping wick, same as QQQ. and then a doji on Black Friday. So we'll see what happens if we're going to get 3 days to the upside, or a couple, 2 more days, or 1 day to the downside here to test the T line. And the T line is this 8 EMA right here. It's that kind of grayish white line right there on the daily chart. So there's FNGU. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Here's Diamond Dow. Wow, look at Diamond Dow. Just getting it done. Diamond Dow puts in a higher low and makes a higher high, definitely in an uptrend. Getting a little extended here in Diamond Dow. Kind of flirting with all-time highs, I think, up there, 353.95. Let me just look at this on the monthly chart. Yeah. So we're all-time highs are actually 370.92, and you can see we're at 353. We're flirting with this year's earlier highs up here, which are 357.55 just about. So go back to the daily chart. You can see we're in a nice uptrend. Trend indicator's green on the daily chart, making a higher low, putting in the higher high. Diamond Dow's getting kind of extended here. It's looking, it could cool off. I'd like to see it consolidate a little bit. Watch for the head and shoulders pattern. Doesn't mean that it's going to break down, but watch for that to kind of materialize. It's getting kind of high up here on a Diamond Dow. IWM, that'd be the Russell 2000. Not quite as a high flyer as the others, but we've got a higher low here, and we put in a higher high. Notice that higher high was a topping wick candle, but now we got consolidation coming right over the top here, so you can see it consolidating in an upward wedge pattern and kind of just dealing with this resistance overhead that looks to be about the 180 level on IWM. So you can see the broader index is kind of late for the move. And of course, those others, QQQ, SPY, they're highly dependent on those 10 stocks in the FNGU, which kind of propped them up very easily. We do have an inverted head and shoulders here in IWM. So let's just take a look at where the neckline would be, and that would be our neckline right there. So really don't want to break that neckline. And you can see that right there. So there's our neckline. This would be the right neck, the left neck, and this would be the right shoulder. As you can see, we're up and above, but we're not getting too far here. So, but the idea that it's consolidating over the neckline is good news. So there's our markets right there. Let's take a look at some of our sub-markets by looking at SMH. This is semiconductors. Now you can see they put in a new all-time high earlier last week, right up there, 165.56, and now you can see they're kind of fading back to the T line. Maybe the rest of the market might get the news a little bit later on this week. We'll see what happens. But here's SMH after tapping out new highs, looking to consolidate right up here over 160. This would be support now that we've made new highs. So you can see the consolidation happening up here near the T line. So SMH in a daily uptrend, making new highs. Here's the last high, made a higher high. So SMH in a daily uptrend, but just currently consolidating over the minor support here. This would be minor support. So all of this consolidation, let me just box this in so you can see what's going on. So all of this is consolidation. So all these hills or peaks up here, these represent the minor support, and the valleys down below represent the major support. So you can see here SMH put in a bull flag. If you look at it, it kind of goes up. Let me just get my marker out. And you can see it kind of goes up like this, and then you've got that box that comes down like this. right there. So that's a bull flag when it comes up and then kind of fades back to the midpoint right about there and then shoots off to the upside. So SMH doing all the right stuff. So there's SMH. Now let's take a look at XLF. So here's our financials. And the financials, wow, look at that run. Not one red day in there. Wow, what a fantastic run. So here's financials coming up. No real pullback here. I guess you could call that a higher low. Not in my book, but it is. Could call it a higher low. But you can see they're coming all the way up to challenge the the most recent highs we made this year. Let me see, did we make, oh, well, we made more highs. Okay, so the recent lower high right there this year, we're up there. So you can see that XLF challenging the mid-year high. I'll call it the mid-year high because it's around August, June, and July right there. So there's the mid-year high. So we're up there challenging that. Making a higher high off of this previous most recent high gives that puts that in an uptrend. I guess you could call this a high. It's not very significant because it doesn't have a lot of candles on each side. This one has much more, but you can see they're both at the same spot. And you can see price action making a higher high. So XLF in an uptrend, looking quite a bit extended away from our 17-day trend indicator right here. This is the 17 exponential moving average way back here, and you can see price action getting kind of frothy up here into these highs. So we'll see how much longer they can continue that. I would expect maybe a pullback or some kind of a rest sometime soon, either probably next week, maybe this week, probably next week though. There's XLF. XLF's really doing well. IYT, here's our transports. Here's the last high. And we're putting in a higher high. So transports also in an uptrend. Nice going there. They got a lot of room to move to get up to their challenge their prior highs, but still in an uptrend. It's going to help out the markets very well. So we could see a turnaround. I see in the pre-market that the SPY is drooping a little bit, kind of like a little pullback. And not much of a pullback. You can see they recovered that quite well. They're up here at 454.91. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. See what the precious metals are doing. All right, so silver's popping out here. Silver puts in a higher low and a higher high. So silver in an uptrend, doing quite well here. Silver's did consolidate here last week and now breaking out this week. Gold. Gold pops up, makes a higher high, so it's in an uptrend, puts in a higher low, and now it's challenging the most recent high right up here, right around 186, 187 level right there. So gold in an uptrend. Let's take a look at our energy. So let's take a look at USO first. So here's USO. Looking like a gap down this morning. So we got a lower high and a lower low. USO kind of fading here. So USO in a daily downtrend, not ready yet to be bought. UNG. And you can see UNG is going to gap down and make even more lower lows. So UNG consolidated and now is headed even lower. We've got a lower high here and a lower high here, and you can see we've made lower lows here and here. So UNG in a downtrend. The markets, as far as SPY, QQQ, Diamond Dow, IWM, FNGU, they're all in wonderful uptrends. Looking a little frothy though, but we'll see how much further they want to go. Now let's take a look at our economic numbers. And for the first number, we'll take a look at the US dollar. So here's our US dollar, and I wanted that on a daily chart. Here we go. In the meantime, we'll go look at economic calendar. Economic calendar, new home sales come out at 10 o'clock this morning. And the Dallas Fed manufacturing survey at 10:30. For tomorrow, we've got the Case-Shiller Home Price Index, 9 a.m. We've got House Price Index, 9 a.m. Consumer Confidence at 10. And a Richmond Manufacturing Index at 10 a.m. And Money Supply at 1 p.m. And GDP would be the headliner for this week. So GDP comes out at 8:30. International trade goods at 8:30. This is Wednesday. GDP on Wednesday at 8:30 in the morning. International trade goods 8:30 in the morning. Petroleum 10:30. Got a Fed speaker, then a beige book at 2. OPEC's got a meeting on Thursday, and I'm looking for the headliners to see if there's any Fed speakers that could move the markets. PMI manufacturing 945. So I'm going to say GDP is probably going to be the headliner for this week on November 29th. That'll be in a couple days. And for earnings, so for earnings for today, quite a light day. I think the biggest one is Zscaler, and they're going to report this evening, and they're only about 28 billion, so not too much for the headliners. The big one's coming out tomorrow. We got BHP right here, 315 billion. Intuit, they do TurboTax and QuickBooks and a lot of other software that companies use. So they're 158 billion. And PDD Holdings, 154 billion. And Workday, 61 billion. So those are the headliners for tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be the day that the markets could move. Let's take a look at Wednesday. Salesforce, 218. They come out in the evening. Synopsys, 82 billion. And they come out in the evening as well. And don't forget Snowflake. They are in our FNGU. And they're at 56 billion. And they're also going to report on Wednesday evening. So that could really, they're 10% of FNGU. So if they report something bad, they could drag the FNGU down or push it to new highs. We'll see what happens. They're the newest member of the FNGU. Don't forget those at FNGU really moves the markets, especially the QQQ and the SPY. Let's go back and look at our dollar index, see if we got it ready yet. And here it is. So here's the pullback. And you can see it's pulled back to the 50. There's the rising 50. Here's the flat 200 right here, that blue line. And you can see price is kind of headed down towards this tail down there. So we'll see if they're going to bounce off this area, come back up, or if they're going to actually make it through and making new lower low for this month. So we'll see what happens there. And that's it for this morning. I'm going to take questions. You want to do the SOXL? I can do that. It's going to look like SMH pretty much. No, it doesn't even look like SMH. All right, so here's the SOXL. All right, so Devin, right here, you've got a high. And then you've got a higher high. So you're in an uptrend. All right, that's a daily uptrend. No pullback yet. So minor support for SOXL is going to be right there. See the peak of that high right there? That's going to be the minor support. So if that fails, you know, this could come all the way down to this level right here, 1688. All right? You're running right into resistance right now on SOXL. But the good news is it's consolidating right underneath resistance. But that's pretty much a typical area for price to consolidate. It's usually just above. It's right on top of support or just below resistance. But it's leaning. The good news is it's leaning on that resistance. In other words, it's banging away at the overhead supply, so it kind of grind away at it, and eventually you hope the economy's still doing well, it can move up and over it. But there is the resistance right there. So the number to get through, Devin, is 24.43. All right, up and over that. And if they can hold price up there, that's what you want to see, is it get up through the resistance and then hold up here. All right, you'd want it to hold up here. Once it holds up there, then you look for it to consolidate and then come and tackle this breakdown candle over here. See that breakdown candle? And then this candle right here. And then start moving towards these highs. But for right now, it's just consolidating right underneath resistance. So you want it to get up here and hold. And from there, you want it to climb this breakdown candle. All right? All right. Other than that, you'd want it to pull back and pick up some energy here, you know, right at minor support. Consolidate there and then make another run at it. MDB. Let's take a look at MDB. MDB is flirting with the all-time highs. Nope, not the all-time highs. The mid-year highs right up here. So MDB is bullish. Here's the last high. Here's the new high. So it's making higher highs right now. And MDB needs to get up over 413.95 and hold that area right up there. And then start working on these highs right up here at 439 and then up to the whole number 450. Okay, right now it's just caught right underneath resistance here at 413.95. So let it consolidate, break up, and then hold. Once you see it hold, then look for an opportunity to jump in. A little frothy here. Like to see it pull back and test the 17. Maybe even test some minor support. So where would some of that minor support be? Right there on the top of these wicks. Right there. You got a little bit of minor support right here. You've got this candle there and that wick there and this wick here. So maybe you pull back to 384.68, kind of do a little J hook and then run up through there, try to get over to 413.95. So MDB just grinding away at overhead supply right now, and it might need to pull back and rest and then take another run at it later on in the month or maybe sometime in January. Meanwhile, until it breaks over 13.95, I'm not ready for it yet unless it pulls back and gives me a nice buy setup that runs, you know, and recovers 51% of that pullback. So MDB, I'm not long and I'm not short. Just not ready for this one yet. It's no opportunity for me at this time. All right. All right, traders, I'll take questions. All right, and if not, I'm going to go ahead and render the video and get it all posted up.